the whole world of Dead Island 2 a lot more dynamic with things happening all around the place. And it's very strongly linked to how seamless we pushed the multiplayer component of the game. So this time around we'll be going up to 8 players that can play together in the same world. And so as you're going to be playing around, you're going to maybe hear gunshots in the distance, and as you walk there, you're going to see that there's another player who's having some trouble handling some thug like earlier, etc., and you could just join up with them. There's no need to group, no anything. You just, meet up and say, yeah, I'm going to help you, and start bashing zombies with him, keeping his back, and then he's going to want to return the favor, this kind of thing.
So you can also use the environment quite nicely to your advantage here. That gas canister managed to set the whole garden on fire.
So for the more classic stuff, obviously, we've added newer weapons, we've added new zombies, there's crazier and more diverse crafting blueprints. This is really taking the whole concept of Dead Island really over the top.
Here the players found a branch saw, so it's a little different from the machete they were using earlier. It's got longer reach, it also does some pretty powerful damage. Good at chopping off limbs.
Obviously, we did not compromise on the classic goreness of the series. So like we said, this is just a little part of the Los Angeles region. We're going to be traveling quite a bit around California, and what you're seeing here, which we restricted just for the demo, represents maybe 10% of what you could actually do in the whole Los Angeles area. And we're also going to have San Francisco and some other places. And a bit later, you'll have a very nice view of just how vast the world is. And we didn't just make it big, but we really try to have events take place all over the place, little stories that you're going to encounter as you're going through the major story arc of the game. So technically she's not supposed to be that tired. It's, like I said, pre-alpha. So we really tried to open up the whole sandbox, have fun, run around experience. So right here you could go into any of the houses, start raiding the candy drawers, all of that, finding all the collectibles to craft or repair later on. And we really embraced this time around the craziness and over-the-top dimension of what Dead Island is about. We realized what players really dig about it is just like bashing zombies in the most crazy ways. So there's going to be even more of these moments where you can just launch one into the stratosphere.
So now the guys have called you on the radio to say, hey, we want to have a party. They want to have a karaoke party. The thing is, karaoke's pretty noisy. You can hear it at the top of the hill there. They asked, mind taking care of the zombies for us while we have our party? So now you're going to see like a whole load of zombies trying to get up that hill, and you got to defend them.
So what the player's carrying now is, at this point, because it keeps changing every month or so, my favorite weapon, which is the home strike, a crafted monstrosity between a bowling ball and a baseball bat.
Ooh. And it's got a pretty cool special move, the zombie launcher. I guess you've seen it a couple of times already. If you do like a swing in the right combo, the zombie goes flying. If that zombie's on fire, we'll set whatever he lands on fire as well.
We're anticipating some kind of, emergent gameplay is really one of the modern things nowadays. We're imagining lots of players are just going to be lining up in front of a horde of zombies and trying to see who punts them the furthest. Looking forward to seeing some YouTube videos on that.
So things are starting to heat up. A couple of thugs have come by, joined the party. When you get this kind of combat with like a whole bunch of enemies plus a whole bunch of these like harder enemies, you kind of got to work together, right? Because that thug can do quite a lot of damage, but if you distract him, set him on fire, make him electrocuted, it gets a little easier.
So this is kind of one of the ways where choice of what you want to do as you're playing through the game is really important. Here, even though the event is activated for all of the players that are present, nothing forces you to, stick around or etc. Players were just roaming around, checking out some of the houses, taking out some of the zombies, and then here, out of necessity, the big guys come, so they start working a bit more together. And as you're going to be playing through the game, especially if you decide to play it online, a lot of what you're going to be able to do in the world will be down to what you feel like on the moment. Do I feel like going into this part of town on my own? Or do I feel like joining this group of guys who's trying to do one of the big events? Or am I going to try and reach this helicopter that just crashed and has a big treasure, but that only one person can pick? So that would lead me to be in a situation where I'm going to be fighting against the other players instead of with. And again, you're never forced to do anything. It's all about what you feel like playing with at the moment. Here's what you just saw is the Fury attack of the Berserker. So every class has a Fury attack, which allows you to do just crazy damage and over-the-top moves for a while.
Yeah, the Berserker's Fury attack's pretty cool. You can kick a zombie, so he goes flying. But what's really special about it is if you aim it right, you can kick that zombie into some other zombies. They all get knocked over. Maybe if they're electrocuted at the time, the electrocution spreads. At that point, he just kicked it over the roof, though. So yeah, the party's over. And the zombies didn't crash it. So if you were to go up to the bar, you might find a pretty cool reward.
Or you're at least going to have, there's my nice view coming up. And yeah, so as you can see, we've just explored a very, very small part. You can go all the way to the coast. So obviously we're bringing back vehicles so you can, not have to run on foot. But yeah, here's a little just sneak taste. But once again, the best way to get a real feel for it is to try it on yourself. So be sure to come check us out. We've got groups of 4, so you can play with your buddies and experience it yourselves.